I lost everything due to my family, until one document turned my life around. Before we begin the story, make sure to subscribe to our channel and never miss more incredible stories every day. I lose everything on a Tuesday that starts like any other. At 8:12 a.m., my phone buzzes with a bank alert. Account temporarily restricted. At 8:23, my landlord texts a photo of an eviction notice taped to my door. At 9:05, my supervisor calls me into HR and slides a printed article across the table. My name in the headline, linked to a fraud investigation I have never heard of. I'm standing there in my work boots, still smelling like the warehouse, and my first thought is stupidly simple. This has to be a mistake. The second thought is my mother's voice, syrupy in public and razor in private, saying, "Jamie, don't embarrass this family. Do you want to explain why your social security number is on these loan docs?" HR asks, "What loan docs?" My mouth is dry. I don't even have credit cards besides one Visa. They show me scans. 3 business loans, 2 personal lines of credit, all opened in the last 18 months. Total, $187,400. All defaulted. All flagged. The signatures look like mine if I were drunk and angry. The listed email is a Gmail I've never owned. "What's your current address?" the HR woman adds quietly. "My apartment on 3rd. I say, then realize I'm already lying. In 5 hours, I won't have an apartment. I call the bank from the parking lot. I call the credit bureau. Each time I hear the same phrase, identity theft investigation, like it's a weather report. I call my mom. Straight to voicemail. I call Mark twice. He doesn't answer either, but he texts back instantly. Busy. What's up? Like we're just chatting about football. By noon, my badge is taken, pending review. By 3, my accounts are frozen. By 6, I'm on my buddy Nate's couch, shoes still on, staring at his ceiling fan like it belongs to someone else. The shame hits in waves. Grown man, 32, sleeping under a throw blanket that smells like somebody else's dog. I keep replaying one thing. The loans list my family house as collateral. The place Mom swears is hers. The place Mark lives in rent-free. The place I helped repaint last summer while Mom smiled and said, "We're proud of you, honey." Proud. Right. Someone used me to save themselves, and I'm pretty sure I know who. Tomorrow, my mother finally agrees to talk, and I walk into a trap. Before everything goes nuclear, my family looks normal from the outside. Sunday dinners at Karen's house. Mark telling loud stories, everyone laughing at the right spots. Me washing dishes because I'm the responsible one. Mom posting photos on Facebook with captions like "blessed beyond measure." Inside, the roles are carved into stone. Mark is the sun. I'm the moon that's supposed to reflect his light. My whole life I hear, Mark has a gift for business. Mark just needs time. Mark's under a lot of pressure. Meanwhile, on the steady paycheck, the emergency contact, the guy who shows up when the water heater dies. Last winter is when the subtle cracks start feeling sharp. Mark pitches another startup at dinner, something about importing luxury sneakers. Mom nods like a board member. She'll co-sign a small line of credit. Mark says, pointing his fork at me, "You've got the clean report." I laugh because it's so absurd. No way. I'm saving for a down payment. Mom's smile doesn't reach her eyes. "Jamie, family helps family. Don't be selfish." I say no anyway. Later she pulls me aside, voice low. "Your brother is stressed. If he fails, people will talk. Do you want that on us?" "On us?" I ask. "Or on him?" She stares at me like I've spoken another language. Then she pats my cheek the way she does when I'm embarrassing her in church. "You always think too much." 2 weeks after that, I notice my mail has been misdelivered to Mom's place. She says the post office is messing up again. Mark jokes, "Maybe they know you belong back home." I let it go, because letting it go is what I'm trained to do. I don't change passwords. I don't lock down my credit. I don't imagine my own mother would cross a line she kept warning me not to cross. So when Mom says she wants to talk things through now, I still hope for the old version of her, the one who used to braid my hair before school. I drive to her house after work, rehearsing apologies I don't owe. At the end of the driveway, I see Mark's car waiting like a warning sign. Mom opens the door before I knock. Her face is already set, the way it gets right before church photos. Mark lounges behind her on the couch, ankle on knee, phone in hand. He doesn't look up. "We need to clear something up," Mom says. "Great," I reply, "because I've been framed for nearly 200 grand. Mark finally looks up, eyebrows raised like I'm being dramatic. Framed? Dude, calm down. I dropped the folder I printed at Nate's apartment onto the coffee table. Loan summaries. Default notices. A screenshot of my frozen account. Mom flips one page, then another. These are your loans. They're in my name, not mine. She sighs, long and weary, like I'm the one who's done something to her. Jamie, your brother's company failed. The lenders were going to come after the house. We did what any family would do, Mark cuts in. We used the cleanest credit to keep the roof over Mom's head. You weren't even living here. My throat goes hot. You forged my signature. Mark shrugs. You would have said no, like you always do. And then what? Let strangers take the house. Let Mom get humiliated? Mom's eyes shine with controlled tears. Honey, you don't understand the pressure we were under. Pastor Hill was already asking questions. If the church found out Mark was bankrupt, it's not the church's money. I snap. It's my life. She flinches, then hardens. Lower your voice in my home. The thing that wrecks me isn't even the confession. It's how rehearsed it feels. Like they've been practicing for my arrival. Where did you get my social security number? I ask. Mom blinks. I'm your mother. I've had it since you were born. And my license scans. The emails. The notary? Mark leans forward. Don't make this ugly. We can fix it if you cooperate. Cooperate how? He slides a paper toward me. A repayment plan. My paycheck routed into family debt resolution. 10 years. If you sign this, Mom says, we'll all be safe. I stare at the line for my signature and realize they expect gratitude. I'm not signing anything, I whisper. Mark's smile fades. Then you're choosing to destroy us. I walk out shaking, but my phone buzzes before I reach my car. The caller ID says Detective Ruiz, and I already know it's about me. Detective Ruiz is younger than I expect, with a tired kindness in his eyes. We sit in a gray interview room. He lays out the basics. A lender filed a criminal report, the DA is reviewing, and because the loans are in my name, I'm the one on paper. Do you think your family might have opened these accounts? He asks carefully. I laugh once hollow. They already admitted it. An hour ago. My brother said it like he was ordering takeout. Ruiz nods. Do you have a recording? Texts? Anything in writing? No, just my word. He pinches the bridge of his nose. Then understand this. If they deny it, this becomes he said she said unless we can prove access. I go home, to Nate's, and start digging. I pull my old laptop out of a storage tote. I check my email logins. There are new device notices from last year, all from my mom's suburb. I never noticed because I delete junk mail on autopilot. I screenshot everything. The next morning I call Mom and say, Detective Ruiz wants to talk. She is silent for a beat too long. Jamie, why are you involving police? We're handling this privately. Privately is how you got away with it. By afternoon, Ruiz has her and Mark in for statements. I sit outside the door listening to muffled voices, heart pounding like I'm about to get my teeth pulled. They come out 40 minutes later. Mom doesn't look at me. Mark smirks. Ruiz pulls me aside. They say you agreed to help. They claim you were angry about your job and wanted to stick it to banks. My jaw drops. That's insane. They also provided an email chain where you discuss repayments. Email chain. I whisper. Ruiz tilts his head. Sent from your address. Last November. Do you recognize it? Of course I don't. I don't even recognize the tone. It's syrupy, obedient, like a version of me they wrote for convenience. My stomach turns cold. Mom walks past, finally meeting my eyes. Stop this before you ruin your brother, she says softly. Mark adds, you're spiraling, man. Get help. I realize then they aren't just saving themselves. They're preparing to bury me. That night, I find my credit report was pulled 14 times from one IP address. The address belongs to a house I've never lived in, but Mom has. Within a week, my world shrinks to the size of my phone screen, and even that turns hostile. Mom posts a vague status about praying for a son who has lost his way. Aunties comment heart emojis. Pastor Hill texts me a Bible verse about repentance. People who used to ask me for help moving couches now just want clarity. Mark calls once, late at night. Ruiz told us you're pushing charges. I'm pushing truth. He laughs. Truth? Jamie, you're a warehouse guy. You don't know how the world works. If this goes public, you won't get hired anywhere. You'll be that fraud dude. You want that? I want my name back. You don't get a name without family. His voice drops. Back off, or you'll regret it. The next day, a cease and desist letter shows up at Nate's, accusing me of harassment and defamation. Signed by a firm I can't afford to pronounce. Mom's handwriting is on the envelope, neat as a teacher's. I drive to the house to grab the rest of my things. My key doesn't work. The locks are changed. Through the bay window, I see my childhood photos gone. The ones with me cropped out first, I guess. Mom opens the door a crack. "You can't be here," she says, like we're strangers. "I need my birth certificate," I reply. "I need my tax returns." "You don't need anything from us. You made your choice." "My choice was not to be your fall guy." Her eyes go hard. "Mark is my son too. I'm protecting him." "By destroying me." She opens the door wider, jaw trembling. "You're not destroyed. You're exaggerating. People make mistakes. If you just say you misunderstood, we'll help you get back on your feet." I look past her and see Mark sitting at the table, sipping coffee from my mug. "I'm not lying for you," I tell her. Mark calls out without looking up, "Then don't expect a dime when this ends." That afternoon, my landlord learns about the police inquiry and refuses to let me keep storing items. My apartment is emptied onto the curb. Some of it disappears before I get there. I keep waiting for someone to call and say this is all a nightmare. Instead, Rosa knocks on Nate's door holding a battered green file folder. Rosa hasn't been in my life much since I moved out. She's Mom's old friend, technically my godmother, though Mom mostly treated that title like decoration. I remember Rosa as the woman who smelled like cinnamon and fixed kids' bikes in her driveway. Now she looks at me like she's stepping around broken glass. "Can I come in, Mijo?" she asks. Nate nods and gives us space. I'm embarrassed by the scene. My duffel in the corner, my work uniform folded like I might still need it, the smell of instant noodles. Rosa sets the folder on the coffee table. "I heard what Karen is saying. I know it's not true. Everyone thinks I'm a criminal," I say. The words come out flat because I'm tired of crying. I can't even open a checking account. She reaches over and squeezes my hand. "Your mother is scared. Your brother is your brother. But there are things you don't know." I want to laugh. Apparently, there's a lot I don't know. For the last few nights, I've been waking up at 3 a.m. with my heart sprinting. I scroll job boards I'm not qualified for. I stare at my savings app, even though it says 0. I think about walking into traffic, not because I want to die, but because I want silence. Rosa watches me carefully, like she can see that thought. "Jamie, listen." She taps the folder. "I've kept this since your father's funeral. Karen told me to burn it. I didn't." I freeze. "My dad's funeral? I was 12. I promised him." She swallows. "He said you would need it one day, because your mother would choose Mark first." My mouth goes dry again, like it did in HR. "What is it?" "A record. A letter. A legal thing." She shakes her head. "I don't know all the words, but I know what it means. I wanted to give it to you sooner, but Karen was watching me." I stare at the folder like it's radioactive. The cover is scuffed, the string tie fraying. There's a faded stamp in the corner, County Probate Court. "Why now?" I whisper. "Because they're going to ruin you," she says simply. "And because I'm tired of keeping secrets that aren't mine." My hands tremble as I untie the string. The first page I see isn't a letter at all. It's a property deed with my name on it. I read the deed 3 times before my brain accepts the letters. My name, James Allen Carter. The full version Mom only uses when she's mad, typed across the top. The address is not Mom's house. It's a small bungalow 2 streets over, the one my parents rented out after Dad died. The deed date is October 14th, 2006. I'm 13 then. "There's more," Rosa says. Behind the deed is a will addendum, notarized, signed by Dad and a lawyer. It says the rental property is placed in a trust for me, to be transferred when I turn 25. It also says Karen is temporary trustee until transfer, with a duty to maintain and report annually. Mom never told me. I choke out. "She told everyone you were too young to understand money," Rosa replies. Then she stopped mentioning it. My head fills with old memories that feel sharp now. Mom insisting on handling all paperwork. Mark moving into the rental for a year, rent-free, while he got on his feet. Me asking about Dad's life insurance and getting shushed. "But I turned 25 7 years ago," I say. Rosa nods. "Exactly." I flip to the back. There's a small stack of accounting statements. Except they aren't annual. There are 3 total, 2007, 2008, 2009. Then nothing. No rent records. No maintenance notes. Just a blank silence where my 20s should be. I don't understand. I whisper. If this is real, why hide it? Because the house was the only thing your father owned free and clear, Rosa says. And Mark wanted it. I stare at the page where Dad wrote, in his blocky handwriting, for Jamie. He will need a place when the world turns cold. My chest hurts like it's cracking. Dad is gone, but this feels like he's grabbing my shoulder from the past. If she was trustee, I say slowly. She had control of the property until I was 25, meaning she could borrow against it. Rosa doesn't answer. She doesn't need to. I take photos of everything with shaking hands. Rosa, where did you get this? She looks down. Karen's safe. I helped her pack it after your dad died. She forgot I kept a copy. A copy, meaning there might be an original somewhere. I look up at Rosa. Did Mark know about this? She hesitates, and that hesitation tells me yes. That night, I don't sleep. I keep zooming in on Dad's signature, on the notary seal, on my own name. Every time I start to believe it, a voice in my head says, if you had a house, you'd know. Mom would have said something. Mark would have teased me about it, right? In the morning, Rosa drives me past the bungalow. I haven't seen it up close in years. The lawn is trimmed. Fresh paint. A new SUV in the driveway. And on the mailbox, black letters that punch me in the gut. M. Carter. Mark lives there. I ask. He moved in last spring, Rosa says quietly. Told your mother it's temporary. I feel stupid for missing it. I've been working overtime, paying rent, sending Mom groceries when she fell behind. Meanwhile, my brother is squatting in the place Dad left me. I get out and walk to the porch. The windows look different. New frames. The door has a smart lock. Everything says money, not Mom's careful penny pinching. Whoever paid for these upgrades wasn't doing it for me. Rosa pulls a small envelope from her purse. Also, this was with the folder. Inside is a handwritten note from Dad, dated the same week as the addendum. It's only a few lines. Jamie, if you're reading this, it means I'm gone or they lied. Trust Rosa. Trust the paper. Don't let love make you blind. My chest goes hot. I sit on the curb and let it blur in my hands. Maybe it's outdated, I mumble. Maybe Mom changed it. Maybe Mark bought the house later. Rosa shakes her head. Jamie, your mother never put your name on anything. She put hers. I start thinking about those loans again. Collateral listed as family house. But if Mom had access to the trust property too, that's 2 houses she could leverage. 2 properties she could pawn to cover whatever Mark did. Still, I'm terrified to hope. A deed doesn't mean much if it's fake or superseded. I need proof that stands up in court, not in my feelings. Rosa, I say, voice cracking, who was Dad's lawyer? She thinks. Patel. Mr. Patel. Still in town, I think. The name rings a bell like a door opening. I pull up his office on my phone, thumb hovering over call. If this is real, then Mom didn't just betray me last year. She stole my future for over a decade. Attorney Patel's office is on the 4th floor of a building that smells like disinfectant and paper. I almost turn around in the hallway because I'm in stained jeans with a backpack, but Dad's note, trust the paper, pushes me to knock. Patel is calm, silver-haired, and doesn't waste words. He reads the deed and addendum, then pulls a thin file from a drawer. I handled your father's estate, he says. These match our originals. My throat tightens. So it's real? Yes. The trust was recorded with the county. Transfer date was your 25th birthday, March 3rd, 2018. He looks up. There is no record of transfer. That's a breach. He opens the county title history on his monitor and turns it toward me. Owner, Carter Family Trust. Then May 11th, 2019, a quitclaim deed to Karen Carter, trustee. Then August 2nd, 2021, a refinance for $140,000. Then April 7th, 2024, another loan for $75,000. My fingers tingle like they're falling asleep. Those totals, that's basically the debt pinned on me. Likely the trust property was used as collateral for your brother, Patel says. Then the debt was shifted into your name to disguise misuse of the trust. He prints certified copies with raised seals. He also hands me an old rent ledger. The tenant from 2010 onward is Mark. Rent listed, $0. 00. Notes, family arrangement. I swallow hard. Can I get the house back? Yes. We petition probate court for transfer and accounting, and we notify lenders that the collateral was obtained improperly. But if you proceed, your mother and brother face serious exposure. I picture Mom telling me not to embarrass the family while she empties my future. I'm proceeding, I say. Patel nods. Then move quietly until we file. I walk out with sealed documents in my bag and a strange new feeling, leverage. My whole body hums, like I've been underwater and just broke the surface. On the bus ride back, Mark texts, "We need to talk." Alone. And for the first time, I'm not afraid to answer. Mark wants to meet at our old diner off Route 6. He's already in a booth when I arrive, looking bored and confident. "Jamie," he says, spreading his arms. "Sit. Let's be adults." I slide in across from him. Adults don't steal their sibling's identity. His jaw twitches, then smooths. "You're making it sound worse than it is. Mom and I are fixing the loans. We just need time." "You have time because you pushed the clock onto me." He leans forward. "Those businesses were supposed to pop. Then the market shifted. It happens. Not to people who keep using other people's names." Mark exhales, annoyed now. "What did you want us to do? Lose the properties? Lose Mom's standing? You were always the safe one. That's why this works." Something in me goes quiet. This works. I repeat. He realizes too late. His eyes flick to my bag. "You're holding paperwork, aren't you?" he says. "Why?" "Worried about which paper says what." Mark's voice drops. "Jamie, whatever you found, give it to Mom. She'll explain. Explain how the trust house was mine. Explain why you lived there rent-free for 14 years. His face freezes just enough to confirm it. I pull out a copy of the rent ledger and slide it across the table. Mark scans it and lets out a thin laugh. "Rosa gave you that. She always hated me. She loved Dad," I say. Mark's smile hardens. "Dad wouldn't want you doing this." I think of Dad's note, "Don't let love make you blind," and feel it click into place. "Here's the real revelation, Mark," I say. "You didn't just ruin my year. You've been living off my inheritance since I was a kid. You and Mom built your life on something that wasn't yours." He stares at me like I'm holding a match to his house. "You think paper makes you powerful? We can outlast paper. Not sealed copies from probate court." His head jerks up. "What did you say?" I stand. "Tell Mom I'm filing." As I walk out, he calls, almost pleading, "Jamie, don't be stupid." I don't turn around, because Dad left that trust for a reason. He knew I'd need protection from my own blood. The trap snaps fast. 2 days after the diner, Mom calls crying. "Please come over," she says. "I'm sick. I can't do this on the phone." Some old reflex makes me drive there anyway. The house looks the same. White siding, wreath on the door, but the air feels different, like a stage before curtains rise. Mom meets me in the kitchen with tea already poured. Her hands shake, which would have wrecked me a month ago. "Mark told me you've been talking to lawyers," she starts. "I've been talking to Truth." Her lips press thin. "Jamie, you're misunderstanding that document. Your father left that house to the family. The trust was just a technicality. Technicality that names me." She swipes at an invisible crumb. "He didn't know how expensive life would get after he died. Mark needed help. I needed help. You were doing fine. Doing fine because I worked for it." She looks up, eyes wet and sharp. "If you file, the church will find out. Your cousins will find out. People will ask why your own mother is in court with her son. Maybe they should ask why my own mother stole from her son." The tears stop instantly. Her voice cools. "Don't talk to me like I'm a criminal. You are one." A silence, thick enough to taste. Then she reaches into a drawer and pulls out a cashier's check. $10,000. "Take this," she says softly. "Get an apartment. Start fresh. Let Mark handle his mess. We'll put the house in your name later, quietly." Later, quietly. The same words that built this nightmare. "I don't want your hush money," I say, pushing it back. Her face changes, anger flashing through the mask. "So you want revenge? Is that it?" "I want what Dad left me, and I want my identity back." She slams the drawer. "Then you'll lose your family. I mean it." "Mom." "No." She points at the door. "You don't get to ruin us and still call me Mom." Outside, Mark is waiting by my car, like he knew this was coming. He steps close enough that I smell his cologne. "We offered you the soft exit," he murmurs. "You want the hard one?" I stare at him. "Try me." He smiles. "Gladly." That night, my phone fills with missed calls from reporters I've never met. Someone has leaked a story framing me as the mastermind of the fraud. Patel files the petition on Friday. By Monday, there's a preliminary probate hearing for the trust transfer and accounting. I'm nauseous walking in, not because of the judge, but because the hallway is full of relatives who now won't meet my eyes. Mom stands with Mark and their lawyer, Sunday pearls, and a practiced victim face. Patel lays out the timeline cleanly. Trust created 2006. Transfer due March 3rd, 2018. No transfer executed. Unauthorized loans against the trust house, and debts shifted into my name. Mom's lawyer rises. Your Honor, Mr. Carter consented verbally and in writing. He is retaliating after a family dispute. Patel hands up the sealed title history. Transfer was bypassed. Loans were taken in 2021 for $140,000 and 2024 for $75,000. Rent records show Mark occupied the property at zero rent. Accounting stops in 2009. Judge Holloway, gray-haired and unsentimental, reads for a long minute. Mom blurts, I did what I had to do to keep my family safe. Jamie is unstable. He changes jobs. He's impulsive. Mom, I say quietly, I worked the same shift 8 years. She snaps, loud enough for everyone. Don't interrupt me in court. You never know your place. A ripple runs through the benches. The church version of her slips. Judge Holloway looks up. Mrs. Carter, you were trustee? Yes, but... And the trust names Jamie as beneficiary with transfer at 25. You had a duty to transfer or petition for modification. You did neither. Mark tries to smile it away. Your Honor, this is family business. Then you should have handled it like family, she says, not looking at him. Patel adds the email IP logs matching Mom's address and the forged chain they submitted. The judge's eyes lift. These findings will be sent to the DA. Mom's face drains. Mark finally looks scared. Court adjourns. People whisper. Someone I barely recognize mouths, I'm sorry. As we exit, Mom grips my arm and hisses. You have no idea what you've started. The fallout rolls in like a slow storm. 2 weeks after the hearing, Detective Ruiz calls me back in. Not as a suspect, but as a complainant. The DA opens an identity theft case against unknown parties, which is polite language for my family. Mark is served at the bungalow. I know because he leaves me a voicemail that's half rage, half panic. You set Mom up, he spits. You don't know what she's done to keep you fed, to keep the lights on. I delete it without listening to the end. At church, Mom's status changes from pillar to problem. Pastor Hill cancels her women's group until matters are resolved. The same cousins who ghosted me now message. We didn't know, Jamie. I don't answer. I'm too tired to manage their guilt. Patel files for immediate transfer of the trust property and restitution. Judge Holloway grants me temporary control. The lender freezes foreclosure to review fraud. For the first time, I can breathe without feeling a boot on my throat. But breathing doesn't feel like joy. It feels like grief with room around it. I drive to the bungalow alone. Mark's SUV is gone. The lawn is still neat, like nothing happened. I use the key Patel arranged through the court and step inside. Every wall I painted in my head for years is different. New cabinets. Fancy tiles. A framed photo of Mark and Mom laughing on a cruise, hung right above Dad's old mantle. I sit on the floor and laugh once, then cry until my shirt sticks to my spine. Not because I miss the money, because I miss who I thought they were. That night Mom calls from an unknown number. Her voice is small now. Jamie, they're talking about arresting Mark. Can we just meet and fix this? I close my eyes. Part of me wants to run to her. Another part remembers her saying, I don't know my place. You had years to fix it. I say. You chose silence. She sobs. I was trying to save us. You saved him, I answer. You sacrificed me. The line goes dead. I think that's the end, until Patel forwards me a new filing the next morning. Mark has counterpetitioned, claiming the trust was invalid from the start. Mark's counterpetition is a tantrum in legal font. Patel says it's weak, but it buys them time, and time is what my family always used as a weapon. So I rebuild while we wait. First thing, I move into the bungalow. Not as a victory lap, but because I need somewhere that can't be yanked away by a landlord hearing rumors. The first night, I sleep on a mattress from Craigslist with no sheets, staring at the ceiling fan Mark installed. I replace it the next day. Petty, maybe. Necessary, definitely. Second thing, I file disputes with every bureau using the court findings and IP logs. The lenders start pulling the fraudulent loans out of my name. My score crawls upward like a plant after a fire. Third thing, I go back to my job. HR reinstates me with an apology so stiff it could stand on its own. I take it anyway, because stability matters more than pride right now. Rosa visits with a pot of caldo and sits at my kitchen table like she's always belonged there. Your father would be proud, she says. I wish he'd been wrong, I admit. She shakes her head. He wasn't wrong. He was prepared. Patel suggests therapy. I roll my eyes out of habit, then show up anyway. The therapist doesn't ask me to forgive. She asks me to name what happened without shrinking it. Betrayal, exploitation, grief. Saying those words out loud feels like learning my own language. Mom sends a letter through Patel offering reconciliation. It's 3 pages of weeping and 1 paragraph of denial. I don't respond. My boundary is silence until truth is spoken. The court date for Mark's petition is set for next month. I keep expecting him to show up here, or for Mom to ambush me at work, or for some fresh humiliation to drop. Instead, a stranger knocks on my door one afternoon, holding a small cardboard box. Are you Jamie Carter? She asks. Yeah. I'm with the county records office, she says. We found something else in your father's file. It was misindexed. She hands me a sealed envelope with Dad's name on it. My hands start shaking all over again. Because if there's another document, it means Dad left more than a house behind. I open the envelope at my kitchen table with Rosa watching from the doorway. Inside is a single folded letter, yellowed at the creases. Dad's handwriting fills the page, steadier than I remember. Jamie, it begins. If you're reading this, you're older than I ever got to know. I'm sorry. I didn't leave you much, but I left you something that's yours, because I knew you'd be asked to carry what isn't. He writes about Mark's charm and Karen's fear. Not cruelly, just truthfully. He says he loved them, but he saw the way they leaned on me like a spare beam. He says he put the bungalow in trust because he wanted me to have a no-questions refuge. He tells Rosa to help when the time comes. Then one line hits me so hard I have to put the paper down. You are not responsible for making other people honest. I've spent my whole life trying to be the glue, the fixer, the one who keeps Mom calm and Mark afloat. And it never occurred to me that honesty wasn't my job to manufacture. The court eventually denies Mark's petition. The lenders drop the loans from my name. The DA offers him a plea that keeps him out of prison if he pays restitution. Mom loses her standing at church and, for the first time, can't talk her way back into it. She hasn't called since. Some days I still miss her. I miss the idea of her. I miss the family photos where I believed we were on the same team. But I don't miss being their safety net at the cost of my spine. What I learned is ugly and simple. Love without boundaries is just permission. If someone needs you silent to keep their story clean, they don't love you. They're using you. If you're living inside a family secret, here's the practical thing I wish I'd done sooner. Lock down your credit. Keep copies of every legal paper you're told doesn't matter. And trust the quiet people who show you truth instead of guilt.